Now, Channel 3 Eyewitness News starts with a first alert weather day.
Good morning and thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Nicole Nalepa in for Caitlin Duclo, and you are watching Eyewitness News on the Wax. We want to get right over to meteorologist Jill Gilardi because these foggy conditions could really impact your morning commute.
Yeah, my drive in, oh, there's a stop sign, kind of one of those deals. Like
Scary.
Even the normal route you're used to, you're still going to be like, oh my gosh, like it was very challenging. Of course, the sun wasn't up yet when I drove in, so that made it even more challenging. But even though the sun is up, it is very foggy in some localized areas, not the entire state. And of course, the ground is still very wet, poor visibility. So a short fuse first alert weather day. So visibility, great, Waterbury, but you go over to Meriden. You go up I-91, Route 9, even across the eastern part of the state, you're going to encounter some fog, and it is very challenging to see, like in Windsor Locks. I mean, it is super thick there. 36 degrees, so at least we're not dealing with freezing fog. And then you look in Middletown, and we got like a little bit of an undercast. You can see that higher terrain right there in the distance. And hopefully, oh, I was hoping the Hartford cam, okay, it's back. Look at this. This is an undercast. So overcast would be the clouds above. Undercast would be the clouds below. So below the buildings, we have the low clouds. It is improving somewhat, the visibility out towards Torrington, and it's going to take a couple hours for that fog to lift. So just want to give you that first alert. Be careful of that. Allow extra travel time if you can. 30s to start off, but everyone is above freezing. Some low 40s down to our south. Hour by hour forecast. Again, the fog burns off within the next few hours. Clouds will continue to thin out. We're going to see some sunshine today. Much better weather in store for us. We're going to finally get back at and actually slightly above normal with those highs in the low, maybe close to that mid 50-degree range. So really nice weather today. Another weak system passing through tomorrow. We'll talk about its impacts coming up here in the next few minutes. But for now, let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin.
All right, thanks, Jill. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's approaching 7:03 here on your foggy Tuesday. So if you're just waking up with us, we do appreciate that. But if you're getting ready to hit the road, heading to work, bringing the kids to school or the bus stop, just a friendly reminder, watch out for those kids along the side of the roads here this morning, just because visibility is very tough out there. Live look here in Hartford, 91 north and southbound. So southbound lane is heading in towards Hartford. Northbound lane is heading towards Windsor. This is right by exit 32A and B, so no delays just yet, but it's definitely tricky out there. Fog has increased in Middletown along Route 9, so the Connecticut River is just over to the side here. Can't see it, so that means you really probably can't see a lot. Not doing as bad here in Waterbury, but you can see that fog hanging just above the tree lines here. This is 84 east and westbound by the Mixmaster, and doing a little bit, just a touch better here in New Britain along Route 9, but still definitely very foggy to start. So thankfully no crashes or major incidents. Daytime construction picks up between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and your drive times all looking pretty typical as you're getting ready to head out the door. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right now we want to talk UConn because it's very exciting. They are headed to the Sweet 16, and they're one step closer to their dream of another national title.
Your reporter Roger Susanen has all the excitement as we look ahead to the next game.
Yes, we are so excited about what the UConn women have already accomplished, but it's only the beginning. Now, last night, they secured an epic victory here at Gamble Pavilion in the last home game of the season. And again, now it's on to the Sweet 16. Your sports director, Joe Zone, recaps the epic victory.
In what was the final game here at Gamble for Paige Beckers, it turned out to be a great night for the team and a great night for her. She scored 34 points and then said goodbye to this crowd and then on her way to Spokane for the next round.
I think you're so busy being present in the moment as a team. We talked about necessarily it's our last game at Gamble, but it's the second round of the NCAA tournament. We're just trying to advance, survive and advance, keep winning, and keep the season going as long as possible. So that was really the main focus, staying connected as a team and staying focused on the game plan.
The story of this game, though, really is UConn's defense. They got behind early by 6 points, timeout at the 5-minute mark, and the rest is history. UConn's defense carries the day.
Defense is something we rely on. We've relied on throughout the whole entire year. It's sort of fueled our offense, and we just know that it's something we can count on, and we just need to continue to build off of today, build off of this weekend, and keep that energy up and that togetherness on defense.
Did you know going in your job was defense, press, make them work hard?
Yes, sir. That's one thing that I come in, I have to emphasize on, especially in my game, but for everybody else to just pick it up a little bit on the defensive end and create from there.
And so here it is, 31 straight times on to the Sweet 16. They'll be in Spokane this weekend, and so will we. Your reporter in stores, Joe Zone, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And we absolutely cannot wait to watch Joe in action and, of course, the UConn women in action when they go to the Pacific Northwest. They'll take on Oklahoma at 5:30 on Saturday night. We absolutely cannot wait. Reporting in stores, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And don't forget, Channel 3 is your home for the Huskies. We're going to be following the UConn women to Spokane and beyond as they fight for a record 12th national title.
Yeah, sports director Joe Zone is on the road with the team and has you covered as the Huskies march on to the Sweet 16. Right now, the news developing right now in Manchester, where police are investigating a car crash that killed a pedestrian on a busy road right near the shops at Buckland Hills. Police say this happened around 10 o'clock last night on Buckland Hills Drive right near Slater Street. We know the operator of the vehicle involved stayed on the scene and is working with police. We'll, of course, let you know as soon as police release the name of the person killed.
And New Haven Public Schools are sharing plans to merge 2 schools together.
Starting next fall, Wexler Grant students will attend Lincoln Bassett School, which means students from preschool through 8th grade will all learn in one school that serves about 450 kids. The Wexler Grant campus would then be turned into an alternative middle school, focusing on learning for students currently placed out of the district. The district says they face a $23 million funding gap. A shocking national security breach. Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg says the Trump administration accidentally added him to a group chain text divulging information about airstrikes in Yemen.
And your Washington News Bureau correspondent Brendan Cullerton has the story for us.
The National Security Council says the messages Jeffrey Goldberg relayed between Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth appear authentic. The war plan group chat took place on the messaging app Signal. Goldberg says the messages back and forth between senior officials debated possible airstrikes that eventually happened, examined the necessary messaging surrounding them to the American people, and divulged information about times and locations for American troops and strikes. Democrats on Capitol Hill say the security breach was unacceptable and needs to be investigated.
This kind of carelessness is how people get killed. It's how our enemies can take advantage of us. It's how our national security falls into danger.
Goldberg says he withheld some of the content of the messages to prevent harm to American troops in the Middle East. House Speaker Mike Johnson says this is an issue for the Trump administration to handle.
The administration is addressing what happened. Apparently an inadvertent phone number made it onto that thread. They're going to track that down and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Clearly, I think the administration has acknowledged it was a mistake, and they'll tighten up and make sure it doesn't happen again.
When asked in the afternoon, President Trump said he was unaware of the security breach.
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it.
The Senate Intelligence Committee had an already scheduled open meeting scheduled for Tuesday morning, including National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
And Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy blasted the breach on social media, saying, quote, "They are going to get Americans killed because of their uniquely toxic combination of carelessness and narcissism," end quote.
Good morning, everyone. A short fuse first alert weather day. It's just for this morning. It's mainly for the fog, and it's localized, so not everyone experiencing foggy conditions. The clouds are passing by above, and then they're, of course, just sitting down below. Look at that, 0, 0, 0 visibility. Hartford, Meriden, New Haven, an 1/8 of a mile in Windsor Locks, not that much better off to the east as well. So very localized. Temperatures are all above freezing, and at times we've seen that Hartford camera going in and out. There's an undercast going on right now with that low cloudiness, the fog that burns off in the next few hours. We'll see temperatures, there it is, getting into the 50s this afternoon. A little bit of light fog in Torrington. That burns off to a partly sunny sky, high around 50 there. And the conditions are great in terms of visibility in New Haven, on the other hand, and you're going to enjoy highs today in the mid-50s. So much better weather after we get rid of of this fog, but then we have a weak system passing through tomorrow. More on what to expect with that coming up in the next 5 minutes.